domestic violence is real dear to my heart. I can say that I've never hit a woman, never raised my hand on a woman, never argued at a woman. I just walk away. And if I can do it out of all my years in life, other men can too, or other women against men can too. So the question is an open-ended question. Anybody can answer. I'm not going to ask anybody directly. Knowing in your past lifetimes, that's up until today, we all have experienced some type of mental health with ourselves or maybe somebody else, or domestic violence with ourselves or somebody else. Let me share a quick story with you. I was in college, and one of my high school friends called me and said that her father had hit her upside the head with a baseball bat. And this was about a month after it happened. And she asked me, could I come just to be with her? Now, we wasn't dating, we were just friends. And she started having mental traumas and physical abuse. You can hear I'm getting emotional because it feels like yesterday when I talk about these things. And I know if you all have experienced something personally, it may bring you back to that place of emotion and pain and, more important, seriousness. So the nature of our answers are going to reflect on the viewers and the audience that are listening, and more importantly, the words suffering in silence. So there's so many people who need to hear the messages that are in this Daddy-Daughter book and the messages that each and every one of you all want to say about what you know about it and how you can how the world can change and we can bring light to this global pandemic. So what would be some ways that we can bring light? Or starting with self, the man in the mirror, when you look in the mirror at yourself, or as a group, how can we bring light to domestic violence and mental health issues?
I would say mentorship. I would say a lot of, from my experience, because I do mentorship with young children because that's what I came from, because I came from a broken home. So I know that a lot of my friends and stuff didn't have exposure to fatherly figures. They didn't have exposure to having an argument in the house between the mother and the father, and then not seeing it as they're bashing each other or they're trying to tear each other apart, but having a disagreement and coming to a mutual agreement. So how could, a child, or then, like you mentioned earlier, turn into an adult, react to a situation they've never been exposed to? So I really think it takes a lot for us to, reach out to the youth and even our friends, and just there's a difference between giving somebody like hypocritical information and giving somebody like experienced information, and you should be able to talk to all of your friends, and you should be able to, you can't talk to everybody the same. There's going to be different ways of different approaches, different scenarios that'll make people grasp to what you're saying. So I just think that more so like mentorship and people in the community picking up where they see a lot of fall off in the community, because I think it starts with the children, because they can just be used to seeing their mom or father arguing with somebody maliciously, boyfriends, baby mama, baby daddy drama, arguing with the uncles, whatever, even their own parents, because a lot of people have bad relationships with their parents, and they don't even see a successful debate there, so like you said, I think good information and keeping it flowing from the kids.
Oh, that was a great answer, and you're absolutely correct, and that's where, from the children's perspective, where the inner child comes into play, and us as adults, where our adult self or mind should be present and be able to, I'll say, put the inner child in ourselves in a safe space when that trigger comes up that makes our adolescent self maybe do something that we know we shouldn't do based on something that happened 20 years ago or 30 years ago, but it's still ever present in your mind because we never address those and we have personal resentments toward them. So we're just trying to figure out different ways that we can help the general public at large, because this is an epidemic, it's a major problem. And when you go to other countries, especially in the 5 continents in Africa, mainly South Africa, mental health is just so running rapidly that it's astounding. And you will literally cry tears if you sit down with a family, because it's a room like this with a family of 4 generations with 25 people living in one room. So you can imagine the type of trauma, mental health, and abuse that that one family goes through. So you multiply that by a whole town of people, and then a generation of people that has not gotten any help or treatment. So it's a major problem.
I was just gonna add that that's why plays such as these are so important, because it gives the audience an opportunity to look into a situation that they themselves may not have been a part of. But having the human connection, when you see it going on, you can actually see what's going on, and it kind of opens the door to a level of living that they're not even familiar with, they don't even know exists. So it's much like watching a movie on television, but in a play it's closer to real life, because these are actual people at that time. And that's what I try to instill into the characters when they're learning their particular part. You know, you have to be that person, whoever it is you're portraying, in order for it to come across as strongly as it's supposed to. So and with Beverly's plays, the thing I love the most is that they're all spiritually based. There's no cursing, there's nothing that's not appealing to the Lord, which means younger people can come as well. You know, you never have to worry about, you know, oh, can I bring my child? Because you can. Of course, based on the child's level of intelligence. I mean, you know, but yeah, it's real important that people get to see what they don't see, because you can't fix what you can't see.
Exactly, and it gives you a better sense of feeling. When you can talk to the central nervous system through a play, when somebody is looking right in your heart and your soul and your mind and your body, and you're just locked on to that kid who caught on to the message, and they won't take their eyes off of you, and you are mesmerized by the message that you're giving, that person is forever changed.
Yeah.
And that's, to me, what you all exemplify as artists in the craft of stage plays and writing and theater and television, Hollywood, Bollywood, wherever it may be, as actors and actresses, it's another way to get the message out. Like in the NBA and the WNBA, they chose to get the message out by, NFL, by Colin Kaepernick taking a knee for what he fought against. The NBA and WNBA start putting theirs on t-shirts. You know, stage plays do the same exact thing, except you all are more accessible. I mean, I'm here in the front row, I'm two seats from all of you all. You know how exciting that is? Versus going to a basketball game, even though you can get a court-side seat and you can still be good, it's just not the same. You know, but they're playing for money, and you all are acting from your heart, sharing a message.
And with myself being a domestic violence survivor, this play has really just not only helped it has helped my healing journey, because I see it, I've lived it, I lived domestic violence, I went through attack, I went through things, and it's 12 years now, and this is my being able to share it, that, and the mental health part, being, PTSD and all of that is real, and it literally changes who you are. The person you start out at first, you're not that person anymore. Your whole dynamic, the way you begin to think is differently. You know, so with the counseling, with communicating with others, some days you have to just say, hey, I'm fragile, because that's letting people know how to handle you, and that's okay. So.
As well as being aware to what it is.
Yeah.
People don't even know if they have PTSD or not. You know, that's where it started in the Vietnam War, where that PTSD became prominent when the soldiers came back, and then they came to the United States or back wherever they went, and they're walking down the street. In the military, they program you to shoot, to kill, to maim, to hit, all of that for the protection of our civil rights, so we can do what we're doing now. So now I'm out of the Army, I come back, and then the first thing I hear is a gunshot. So what does a soldier automatically do if he has not been decommissioned mentally to deal with that? He goes back into war mode. So he gets his gun, if he has one on him, because most of them carry weapons, and they immediately start shooting, because they think right now I'm back in Vietnam and I'm getting shot upon. So that's a form of PTSD and mental health, which causes personal violence abuse sometimes because the spouse may not know anything about, or girlfriend, or brother or friend, that this person has this PTSD, mental health issue, and all of a sudden now he's a victim. So just to talk about it, to bring it to light, like the 13 women that were in this book who all shared personal stories such as Beverly's, we had to stop the coaching session several times because it got so mentally intense for all of them. Now, I was the only man with 13 other women, so you can imagine the mental state that I had to be in. Because as I'm reading this, if you read this book, you'll say, if you're unlike every story in this book and you're a man, you'll say, how can a man do that to a woman? You know, how can a man do that to a woman? But in this book, and on this stage, and in these chairs, you all can spread the message. And with spreading that message of mental health and domestic violence, it will pick up traction organically along the way with people who are in you all's genre that can help you propel what you all are doing to the next level, because now you have a play with a mission and a cause. See, anybody can write a play, anybody can give a play, anybody can put a play on.
Right.
But the key success is a play with a mission and a cause.
Yes.
And now we have a mission and a cause.
I think these plays are important because there are a lot of silent survivors.
Yes.
So when they see the play, you know, it allows them to heal, because she do give solutions also. So I think I just wanted to say that. It's a lot of people, it's embarrassing. They don't want to tell their story. So when people are brave enough to tell their story, it helps those that don't want to say anything about what's happening to them. And a lot of people don't even know that they're being abused. And people don't think that they're abusing other people.
That's Stockholm syndrome.
And you
So
know
it-
what, that's more true than, I'm sorry, I was trying to get this in right quick. I have the DVD from a previous performance of the same play. And I'll just say my goddaughter was at the house. She came to spend the night with me. I had to go to a meeting the next morning, so she was there alone. And she heard us laughing and carrying on with watching the DVD. And she said, oh, well, Mom, I want to see it too. So I'm like, well, you look at it while I'm gone. She was in a relationship that she had no business being in, and I had been telling her that, you know, whenever I could, and she didn't really hear it. But do you know that after watching that play, 2 days later, there was me, her, and the guy, the three of us on the phone together. She put a stop to it, and she called me a couple of days later because I was concerned about her. And she called me to tell me that she was okay, and she started talking about different things. I said, well, it sounded to me like you just went through what you saw in the play, and she just laughed. But she's a new person. She left that relationship, and she said she feels lighter. You know, I mean, it was just so inspiring to me, and that's why I'm so passionate.
And one more thing to
Go ahead, I'm done.
off of what you're saying.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Like you were saying, for people that have not been through it yet, it'll give them, you know, hey, these are the signs, and
Exactly.
symptoms. So when they see it, they like, hey, I'm not gonna do this.
Right.
So that's another point that I wanted to put out.
I'll say one more thing.
After this, we're gonna go to Beverly.
Okay, one more thing, I'm quick. You know, it is a cultural humility too. We all come from different backgrounds or cultural backgrounds, so you're not aware of your implicit bias sometimes with certain situations, and especially people that go through domestic violence. So, watching a lot of her plays, I'm able to have more of a humility to a lot of different people's situations. Cause like a lot of people do not go through things, so you're like, oh, why are you taking that? What's going on? You can get your life right. But when you actually sit back and watch other people's stories, and you're able to kind of see a visual of it, it gives you more of the humility to respect it.
Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your awesome comments about mental health and domestic violence. And Beverly's gonna end it up with a poem that she wrote.
The name of the poem is Domestic Violence and Mental Health. Domestic violence and mental health, the 4 words that change the meaning of myself. Words that touch the core of me, not being able to see the more of me. Words that bust my skin and bones, used for the new me to be shown. Words that brought pain and shame, only now to give glory to his name. Words that tried to break my spirit, now at his appointed time for all to hear it. Common words heard in this nation, God used to build my new foundation.
Come on, girl.
Brutal words full of hurt and rage, he used at another page. Changing their meanings in my heart, he began my new start. To show that he cares for all who would dare to trust in his love everywhere. I will never be the same because I'm restored, revived, and renewed in Jesus' name.
All right.
Thank you, everyone, for coming to Intimate Changes 4D Productions, and your input is invaluable, it's priceless, and no amount of money can take away with your heartfelt contributions. And as we go forward, I want to get to know each and every one of you, and hopefully you all want to get to know a little bit more about me and what I do, because I have avenues that maybe can help you outside of this as well.
And I want to say this before we end. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for being such a dear friend.
Yes.
Thank you for introducing us, Royal. Just being an awesome person all the way around, and being a listening ear, and just giving just guidance, friendship, mentorship. I could go on and on. I appreciate you greatly.
You're welcome.
Let's give him
I got somebody you need to meet. I got somebody you need to meet. And it was Beverly.